Welcome back, everyone, to After the Scales. It's episode 74, presented by DJD Graphics. I'm Shaun Blight of Canadian Racing Tours. Alongside with me, as always, is Jacob Dove of Phenom Motorsports. And today we've got a young up-and-coming sprint car driver who just ran the King's Royal and started on the pole, and now he's off to Knoxville for the 360 Nationals, KASEY Jedrzejek. Really cool that he was able to park some time for us this week, considering everything that he's been doing. A big week, or a big weekend, I should say, in the racing world. And before we get into everything, you may have noticed that Jacob is looking a little more aerodynamic these days. Jacob, what's going on with that?
Yeah, as you can see, not rocking the stash anymore. I told one of our Phenom Motorsports iRacing guys, Austin Bloodworth, young up-and-coming dirt late model racer out of Georgia, that if he got his 604 win at Sonoya, that I would shave my mustache off. And, well, ended up happening, so I'm a man of my word, and all my guys were getting on me about it, so I had to make sure that I stepped up and did it. You know, it's pretty cool that he was able to do that, and I give some guys some extra motivation to do something silly.
Yeah, it's cool because we got to meet Austin and his family down at All Tech this year with the late models. So that was really cool to get to meet him because I've Bert has told us a lot about Austin, and hopefully we can get him on at some point too. That'd be really cool. You were also glued to the PDC this weekend. Before we get into sprint car talk, we'll keep on the late model trend. PDC, Brian Shirley picked up the surprise win under extenuating circumstances with the weather. How did that go?
I just have to say, I heart falls. Man, what a place. It was killing me that I wasn't there at Fairbury, Illinois. Every year, the Prairie Dirt Classics, one of the best dirt late model events of the year, one of the crown jewels. And obviously, it wasn't ideal with the 3-hour rain delay. I stuck it out. I was drinking Nos Energy drink, trying to stay awake for it. The track looked like it was done for, and hats off to the track crew for being able to still pull it off. All 7,000 people came rushing back to their seats to watch and were cheering when the cars made it out on the track. And yeah, 16 cautions wasn't ideal, but still really good racing up front. Bobby Pierce ended up making a mistake and stacked up the field, which was really, not very often you see that. So a lot of drama, but Brian Shirley ran a great race. Want to send thoughts out to his wife, who's currently in the hospital. Obviously, it helps that 50,000 to win, and then an extra 38,500 going to every lap led. So $88,500 is a great purse for Shirley to take home and support his wife with. So definitely a great PDC. Hopefully, I'll be there next year.
Yeah, with the start to the year that he had down in Florida, where we got to watch, he was just a lot of bad luck with blown engines, blown parts, getting in wrecks that weren't even his fault, blown tires, all that kind of thing. He had a brutal start to the year, so it's cool to see that any drivers watching this, your luck can change with one big paying race. So keep the hope alive, and congrats to Brian Shirley. I was at Weedsport, got to see David Gravel draw the number one pill. And when David Gravel draws the number one pill, David Gravel usually wins the race. And he led every lap and kind of drove away with it. But great racing for third, fourth, fifth, sixth, kind of in that neighborhood. Local guy here, Ryan Turner, made the dash. And he ended up finishing seventh. So that was cool. His highest ever finish in a 410. And young Zach Sabatka, who I'd never heard of, and probably anybody outside of Central New York had never heard of, made his first, I don't know if it was his first 410 start, but it was one of his first 410 starts anyway, his first World of Outlaw race, and he finished ninth. So good on him. He was in the 305s the night before. Cool story there coming out of Weedsport with some local guys doing good up against the best in the world. And Saturday was the Super Dirt Car Series, and I want to give a shout out to our buddy, friend of the show, Felix Waugh, who handed me this autographed, was it 1/18th? I think 1/18th scale, 1/16th scale replica of his big block modified. Been shooting some pictures and videos for Felix. He's just the best, like the nicest guy. He's got a big week up this week in Quebec and Brockville with the Super Dirt Car Series. So we're wishing him good luck. Just a great guy. If you see him, walking around, you go to the pits to see him, just tell him we say hi, tell him that we sent him, we sent you because he's the best. So well done, Felix.
And another young driver we're going to have on today is Casey, and really looking forward to hear from him. Obviously, with his dad with the super modified background, going to be interesting to hear how he got into dirt racing. And I know you were at Eldora when he sat on the pole. What are some of your thoughts about Casey before we have him on?
Yeah, it's really cool. I've been thinking about getting him on or inviting him on for a while. Just I watched his dad race super modified so much here in the Northeast, and he was one of the most I would say underappreciated super modified drivers, just because in his prime just happened to be the prime of some of the greatest super modified drivers of all time, like Chris Purley and Russ Wood and Dave McKnight. So he kind of sometimes would get lost in those guys' shadows a little bit. And racing mostly out of Ohio too. If you wouldn't see him at Oswego every week, that kind of thing. But whenever he showed up to Oswego, man, whatever car he was in, he drove a bunch of cars. He was always in contention for wins and won a bunch. So yeah, really curious to see how Casey got into the dirt racing, considering his dad, I don't think ever raced a dirt car. So we'll ask him about that. I'm excited to talk to him. And he's a kid with a bright future because he can really wheel a race car. So we'll be right back with KASEY Jedrzejek after this.
Scales is proudly presented by DJD Graphics. From commercial and personal vehicles to racing bikes and cars of all makes, models, and disciplines, DJD Graphics can fully customize your vehicle to suit your needs. For more information, contact Darren and visit his website at www.djdgraphics.com. Tell him Shaun and Jacob sent you to receive special rates.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got KASEY Jedrzejek here joining us, getting ready to leave for Knoxville on Wednesday. Casey, how's it going? And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, it's going great. Thanks for having me on.
So we were just talking before we brought you on about kind of what a whirlwind couple of weeks it's been, shocking the world and putting your car on the pole at Kings Royal. I'm sure you've been asked about it a million times, and I know you kind of slipped back in the A main, but whatever. I mean, what was the experience like? I mean, just to make the show and then put it on the pole, like in front of all those people.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty crazy moment, actually. Going in the heat race, knew we started on the front row, heat race number 6. So, whoever won that one was starting on the front row. First start didn't really go that great. Fell back to maybe 4th or 5th on the first start. Luckily got a re-go at it and was able to hold on to second there on the start and then just sort of keep trying to nail the bottom every lap after lap, and was able to catch up to Dason and get by him. And then after that, we were all just pumped as a team to be starting on the front row, let alone our goal was just to make the show that night. I mean, we were having a pretty rough week. Felt like we were getting faster and faster as the week went on, but it was just sort of a catch-up deal going on. Everybody else was pretty fast out of the get-go, and it just took us some time to get going. We had a different engine package for the first time, so just sort of trying to tune our gear and what gear ratio was the best for us to run. But yeah, it was a cool deal. The whole crew was pumped up that we put it in the A main. So after that, we were sort of didn't really care what happened in the future. We were going to give it the best shot we could get after it. But yeah, no, we were happy with the end result. And but yeah, it was a cool deal for real.
Yeah, Casey, you brought up a good point there about nailing the bottom in the feature. Seemed like throughout the whole night at Eldora that you were pretty committed to running the bottom. Knowing that we saw a lot of nasty wrecks going to turn 1 on the high side with the hole in the track, were you pretty comfortable with just running the bottom? You never really, gravitated up towards the top and maybe try to, work your way up as you fell back in the feature?
Yeah, I mean, ran the top earlier in the week a little bit, but come Saturday, it just seemed like the bottom was working good in the heat race. And then going into the feature, at that point, we were all happy with making the feature, and we were going to try to finish the best we could, but if we fell back, we fell back. I mean, we didn't need to take the chance of tearing a car up on the top or anything like that. I mean, the car and engine we were using that night is the same ones we wanted to go to Eldora with, so we just didn't want to tear anything up looking further on into the later part of the season. So, yeah, I mean, was falling back and probably could have went to the top if we wanted to, but it was right on the wall and just didn't see the need to take the risk.
We've been talking a little bit about all the torn up race cars and injured drivers at Eldora. Do you think, I mean, I'm just a race fan, and I'm curious to get your take as someone who's raced at Eldora. is it just a matter of everyone just trying to get as much as they can off of a restart? Because like once you get single file, that's kind of the way it's going to go unless you're really, really hooked up. Is that how you saw it, or is there something different you might attribute to that?
Yeah, I think it had a lot to do with the restarts just because of the track conditions. I mean, every night except Saturday, the track was wide open the whole night. So whatever you got, getting into turn 1 and 2, that was pretty much it. I mean, you're going to be single file the rest of the race,
Yeah.
just wide open. So I think that had a lot to play with it. And then, yeah, just trying to get everything you get on the starts. I mean, Saturday, I don't think we saw as much carnage just because the track did slow down quite a bit considering from what it was earlier in the week. And I think the rain actually helped slow the track down because they sealed it over pretty good before the rain came, and they just didn't have a whole lot of time to water to prepare it after that for later on in the night.
So, Casey, is it safe to say that, after starting on the pole of Kings Royal event, that Eldora is your favorite track, or is it maybe another racetrack, especially in Ohio, maybe one of your favorites?
No, I've actually been telling people I hate half miles like that whole week and everything else. I really just enjoy going to the short tracks is where I enjoy the most. Like my favorite track's Waynesfield Raceway Park in Ohio, and it's probably the smallest track I go to all year. So half miles, I mean, I enjoyed it a little bit more after starting on the pole and having a good run, that's for sure. But outdoor is definitely not my favorite track to go to. But I think as time goes on, I'll enjoy it more, and once I get more competitive and things like that.
So you've picked up a couple of wins this year in the 360s with GLSS. You've got the 410 win at Fremont. What's your strategy going in this year, just to get as many laps as you can, just try to grow your experience level?
Yeah, I mean, last year I think our trip was anything but smooth. We tore the 360 motor up prelim night in the B main, and then in nationals, 410 nationals prelim, we blew up in qualifying the 410. So I mean, nothing really went smooth the whole week for us. So I think by the end of the week, after getting some decent laps in, putting a different 410 in, and running Hard Knocks Friday, and then I think by the end of the night Saturday, I mean, we were in the D main or whatever, but I just felt a lot more comfortable getting around the track. I think my crew chief Kent got me a lot more comfortable out there, and I think we have a lot more confidence going into this year now that I've been there once, and I think we've built our program up a lot better, and we just have a lot more speed going into it this year.
And looking back at Casey to Eldora, I was telling Shaun how you were so impressive there at that track that I even tweeted out that I thought Steve Kinzer was running that number 11 car out there at Eldora. But how did you get into sprint cars? Obviously, we're going to talk about your dad and his involvement with Supermodifieds, but I mean, you're a young racer coming up through the sprint cars in Ohio. Kind of walk us through how you got into it.
Yeah, so I was pretty much asphalt ever since I was born. My dad was an asphalt racer, so I just grew up at the asphalt tracks, did quarter midgets on the asphalt, and then the one of my dad's buddies that actually raced supers against, Lou Ciccone, he has pretty much every race car you could ever imagine. He's had it at one point. So he had some dirt 600s he was racing in PA. So we went up there for a couple weekends when I was probably around maybe 15, 14. I think we ran probably 3 or 4 races throughout the summer and didn't do good at all. I mean, I really struggled big time on the dirt. I just couldn't get the car sideways, get it pitched in, and just have the car set the way I needed to. And then by the final race at the end of the year, I started to get the hang of it a little bit. And then as all that was going on, we knew one of my dad's other buddies from Supers, Denny Fisher, he actually had bought a 305 engine, and he bought a brand new Triple X frame, and he was sort of getting some parts together to put a car together. And he said, well, I want to run it the first couple nights because he wanted to experience what it was like to drive on dirt. He had never done it before. And then he said, how about we let Casey run it after that? So that was pretty much how I got into the dirt 305s, and then just one after another. And now I'm racing 410s for Ed.
That's really cool. You mentioned Liquid Lou Ciccone. I grew up here in the Northeast, going to Oswego quite a bit. So I got to watch your dad run mostly classic weekend. He would come up in like the Gene Lee Gibson number 7 and just spank the field. Like I'd only see him once a year, and he was really, really good in that car. Any memories, like your favorite childhood memories of your dad running a Supermodified?
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember going to the super races all the time with my dad. I remember when he raced I think probably the first car I remember him racing is probably the Reed Salvage number 8 car.
Yep.
They were pretty competitive in that, and they won a lot of races in that. So I remember him doing that. And then I remember when he got into the Soul 32 after that, and they won some races in that, and that was a good time. And then he actually stopped racing for a while, the 32, My dad couldn't make it to one race, and they put somebody else in it. And I think they had a part failure and ended up tearing the car up pretty good. So they were taking some time off to build a new car. And I remember me and my family were down in Myrtle Beach for vacation, and Howie Lane called my dad up while we were down there. And he's like, "How about we run Oswego this coming up weekend?" And Dad was like, let me see what I can happen here." And we ended up heading up there that weekend straight from Myrtle Beach, cut vacation short a couple days, and went up there. First night in the car, he won. So I definitely have a lot of memories growing up, going to the track with him. I mean, I always enjoyed going to the pavement races. It was pretty much just a family deal. My cousin was usually there. My uncle would race. So, yeah, I have a lot of memories growing up, going to the asphalt tracks.
And now that you've been on the dirt for quite some time now, are you pretty set on, this is what you want to do moving forward with your racing career, getting, with the dirt sprint cars and staying with that? Obviously, when I think of Ohio, I think of, dirt sprint cars. And, when you think of super modified, you think of New York and then the Northeast. But, is this kind of your goal, is to maybe run a World of Outlaws, High Limit, or All Stars sprint car series one day?
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. I mean, I've done a little bit of asphalt racing over the years. I mean, I ran a handful of super races, but I definitely enjoyed during the dirt the most. I think you have the most opportunity there, really, to like expand on your career. I still try to go to as many asphalt races as I can. I mean, this last weekend we rained out Friday and Saturday, so I was up at Sandusky both nights, hanging out with some old buddies up there at the High Miler. But yeah, I definitely want my career to keep expanding into the dirt, and yeah, I don't really see going asphalt racing anytime in the near future.
Yeah, getting back to your dad a bit, it's funny. I forgot the lane car that he drove. That like he kind of raced in like the prime super modified era. Like when I remember when I was a kid, like Russ Wood was always the dominant guy, but you had Chris Purley and Greg Furlong and Dave McKnight was really good, and Gosick and Abold and Ordway, like all these guys. I know I'm gonna forget guys, but it's not on purpose. But what kind of an influence, like I know he doesn't really have the dirt background, but he's obviously there giving you advice and helping you out. What kind of an influence is he on your racing career?
Yeah, I'd say he's a big influence. I mean, he doesn't have any dirt experience at all. We try to talk him into doing a race every now and then. The team I'm racing for now is like, "Oh, you got to come run a 360 race or something like that." And he doesn't want to do it, but he helps me out as much as I can. I mean, if he's just up there telling me where guys are running before I qualify or anything like that, like even at Aldora here last week, he was only there the first 2 nights, I think, but him just watching other guys the first 2 nights and then watching me, he was able to tell me some things that I could clean up and where I could get a little bit better. And then he was like, "I don't know if it's going to work, but something you can try at least."
So he wouldn't even, like, he's never tested one or anything like that. Even you can't even get him to do
No, no, he's never ran on dirt. He says he's never going to run dirt. So, I mean, even Lou tried to get him to run some 600 races up there, and he was like, "No, I'm not doing it." So,
Well, since you've been on dirt and asphalt, for a lot of people who've never, raced on both surfaces, what would you say is the biggest difference as far as, between the sprint car and the super modified, as you can tell from behind the wheel? Obviously, it's two different animals, very raw speed and raw power, but what are just some of the biggest differences behind the wheel of those types of cars?
yeah, I would say mainly just in the sprint car. I mean, it's all go from the green flag. There's no laying back and trying to save your stuff or anything. It's go from the beginning. And I think that's one part when I do race the super, I do struggle. I always have like guys like Mike Ordway Jr. He comes over and he tries to give me advice because I'll be the guy in the heat race where I'll go hard the whole 10 laps of the heat race or whatever. He's like, "No, you got to learn. You got to save your tires throughout the heat." So, yeah, I'd say that's the biggest difference is just you're going straight from the rip in the sprint car, and in the super, you might be waiting until the last 30 laps of the feature.
Yeah, I was at Weedsport last night for the World of Outlaw race, and I ran into a couple of my super modified buddies, Camden Proud and Kyle Perry. And I was trying to say, "Hey, guys, you should look into buying one of these." And Camden said, "Dirt is for the parking lot at the pavement track that you're going to." So like he's there's definitely
Yeah.
the pavement dirt wars for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they get dirt every year on their track up there at Oswego, so they should just give it a
Right.
shot one weekend.
That's right. Let's look ahead to the 360 Nationals this weekend. Obviously, so split field, Thursday, Friday. Um, stout cars, stout drivers. What's your game plan going into this weekend?
Yeah, I think our goal probably for the prelim night just to make a show, get some good points. Either I don't know, maybe lock into straight into the feature Saturday, or just be up front in a B, hopefully, and just have some speed right out of the gate. I'm looking for. I mean, I think we were pretty decent there at the end of the last year, and I think we should be able to start off pretty good again.
Yeah, and for a lot of people who might not watch the 360 Nationals, it's no slouch. A lot of 410 guys put the 360 motor in and run it. Really good competition. You have guys like Sam Haferteep Jr. and Brian Brown, and even the Radine car usually shows up too with the 360. Just talk about some of the competition you're going to be stacked up against for the 360s.
Yeah, I think almost everybody that runs high limit just about is going to be there this week. So there's definitely a lot of competition there. I mean, the 360 guys at Knoxville are tough, and then you got the ASCS guys that come in. They're just as good. I mean, there's really no slouches when you go to the Nationals. I mean, everybody's pretty competitive, and you just got to be after it right from the get-go.
So, couple of things before we let you go, Kasey. I just wanted to mention you don't have a merch site, but you do sell merchandise at your trailer at all your races. So, if you want to get some KASEY Jedrzejek merch, just go see him at his trailer at any of the races that he's at. After Knoxville, what are some of the kind of the bigger events that you're looking at hitting up?
Yeah, I think after Knoxville, obviously the All-Star events that are going on in Ohio. I think there's one like the week after we get back, so I'm sure we'll be there. And then I think we're planning on going to Ford Crown again at the end of the year at Eldora. We'll be there with the 360 and the 410 that weekend. And then yeah, I don't know. I don't really look at the schedule too much. We sort of decide the week before, 2 weeks before where we're going to go. So I'm really not sure where else we're going to be, but we'll be racing somewhere every weekend.
All right, I'll be at Four Crowns. So that's cool that they've added the 360s to the Thursday. So I know a lot of Canadians are going to be coming down for that. So should be a huge car count. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be a good deal. We never get to go every year because they always do it the same year as the Nationals, 360 Nationals. So I'm excited to take the 360 down there.
Well, Kasey, we really appreciate your time. You've been an awesome guest, and you have a bright future ahead in the dirt sprint car world. So before we let you go, Shaun's going to ask you some 10 questions. Just come up with the first answer. It's our DJD rapid fire segment. Shaun, take it away.
All right, we touched on this a little bit earlier, but what is your first memory of going to a racetrack?
My first memory. I don't know. Maybe when I was growing up racing, I remember my first couple times going to Sandusky Speedway racing quarter midgets at the little dirt track in the infield. So I'd have to say probably that.
All right, what's the best thing to do in LaGrange, Ohio?
Oh, there's really not anything to do out here. I mean, I got a cornfield in my backyard. So the best thing to do in LaGrange, Ohio, I don't know, maybe just go to like the football games on Friday nights or something. I mean, there's really nothing else going on.
We always like asking that of guys from smaller towns to see what how they spend their time growing up on weekends. What's a race car that you haven't tried that you would love to?
I think it'd be cool to just try like a dirt midget just to see what it's like, something like that, or even those outlaw carts. They look pretty fun to drive out there. So anything like that.
All right, and what's a bucket list racetrack or race event that you haven't done that you really want to get to?
I don't know, maybe go down to like Volusia early in the year, just to be racing in Florida in February. I think would be pretty cool. Have a little bit short of an off season, but yeah, probably that.
All right, so obviously your dad was a very accomplished race car driver, but do you have any other racing heroes outside of your family that you look up to as a kid?
I was always a big Casey Kane fan growing up. Like I didn't know much about his dirt when I was growing up because I was an asphalt guy, just watching him race NASCAR. But yeah, I think it was just his name. We had the same exact name and everything like that. I mean, I had my quarter midget was number 5 growing up, just like his. So yeah, probably Casey Kane.
All right, so sidetrack. So what was it like the first time you got to race against him?
I mean, it was pretty cool. I think it probably was sometime last year. I feel like it might have been the Portsmouth high limit event, maybe first time I raced against him, and we were racing during the feature out there a little bit, but it was a cool deal just to get to race against him and stuff like that, see how he races and everything else.
That's cool. All right, who's your favorite artist or band right now?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't listen to a whole lot of music. I just sort of turn the radio on and have it play whatever it is. But I'm a country guy, so maybe like some Morgan Wallen. I enjoy listening to him.
All right. Which track has the best food?
Probably Aldora. I always go for the cheese balls there. So
Yeah, I'm a big pizza burger guy. You get the marinara sauce and put it on the
mhm.
pizza burger. That's chef's kiss. That's so good.
Yeah.
All right, away from the racetrack, what are some things you like doing?
Well, we race about every weekend, so I really don't
Yeah.
do a whole lot. But every now and then, me and some buddies will go golfing, or I'll just go hang out with some other racers. I go up to Fremont; it's about an hour down the road, and just hang out with some friends out there at a buddy's shop. But yeah, I really don't do a whole lot other than that.
All right, a couple more. Any competitors that you like to hang out with off the track?
Oh yeah, I mean, me and Mike Keegan hang out all the time. Bryce Lucius, Darren Ida. I mean, we all sort of hang out as a group every now and then, and we usually all get together in the winter during the off season. We'll hit up a go kart track here in Cleveland, Ohio, Boss Pro Indoor Karting, and we'll go tear some stuff up there over the winter.
That looks like you guys should sell tickets for that. That sounds like it'd be a good show.
Yeah.
All right, last one. How many different ways have you heard your last name pronounced?
Probably more than I can count. I mean, I think about everybody says it differently. So, I mean, I remember one time we were at Crystal last year for the first time racing 360s, and I didn't hear, but my crew guys were telling me about it. They're like, "Yeah, he was saying your name," and he goes, "Casey, just Casey," and then he just gave up. So, I mean, I've heard about every way that you could possibly say it.
So true story, Jacob usually does our openers, and he wanted me to tackle it because he didn't want to butcher. He's butchered enough last names on this.
No, it's fine. Everybody else does it, so I'm just used to it at this point.
See, the good thing about when Tim raced, it was just Timmy J. That's what everyone just
Yeah,
called
they
him,
just called him Timmy J.
So, yeah.
I will say the announcer at Attica, where I first started racing, Brian Liskey, he had it right off the bat. Like, he knew Jedrzejek, and he was just good with it from the get-go.
That's awesome. All right, man. We really appreciate your time. Good luck this week. We'll be cheering you on, and go blue.
No, OH. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks.